Okay guys, so just a quick extension task for those of you who are finished before your workshop hour is up. And in order to do that, we need the data set in a more raw format. So we need to get rid of all of these calculations that we've done, because I want to show you how you can get pretty much the same result as this, but much quicker using pivot tables, which I introduced last week. So if you want to keep all of your progress, and this is just generally also to show you how you can save things using your OneDrive, I would recommend that you go into File, Save a Copy, okay, and then just select your OneDrive. Now if you go to more options here, for example, it then opens up the normal sort of saving Explorer window that you're used to. You could create a new folder, for example, call it Workshop 2. Open that workshop and then save this as a copy. Okay. My computer is just being ridiculously slow. But yeah, so do that. Save a copy of this data set. It's not letting me do that because I've got something else open in the background. But save a copy before you make any changes and delete any of the stuff you've done if you want to keep this somewhere for your own reference. But what I'd like you to do now is just to delete your tables, your charts, delete the averages that you've created, and maybe just get rid of this as well. Okay, so we're back to this more raw data set where we've just got the ratios, arm spans, and heights. And as I've said before, I want to show you how to get exactly the same information that you had before that you used to put into your clustered bar chart using a pivot table very simply. So click anywhere in the data set, like here, for example, where you want to input this pivot chart, or you can also put it at the top here. We go to Insert, Pivot Table. We want to select the range. Okay, so just put everything in there, all of this data that we've collected. Confirm this range, and then just click OK for now. And it will insert, get rid of this, insert this pivot table in here. Now what we want from this is averages of these different measurements that we've created, correct? And we wanted those averages per course. So the thing that we need to have into our in our rows, so the thing that we want to create these different averages for is course. Okay, so we can just drag this variable course into here. And then what we want is the different averages for these measurements. So I'm going to drag the measurements that we're interested in into the values section here. Just going to do that all for now. Now what Excel sort of defaults to is the sum. That's not what we want. We actually want an average of these measurements. Okay, so starting with height, you can navigate with these arrows between the different sections here. So just click on it and then go to Value Field Settings. And you can just change this from sum to average and then click OK. So now we've got the average of height. We can click the same here, change it to average, click OK, and then the same here for ratio. Okay, so now we have exactly the same information that we wanted before. We can now create a chart from this actually. If you just click on you're within the pivot table analyze sort of section, which is only available if you're within the pivot table somewhere, so you need to click on that and then go here into pivot chart. For example, we can insert a clustered column and click OK. Okay, so it creates the same thing. Now in this case, because we have the average ratio in here, and the ratio is obviously a lot smaller than the rest, we can exclude ratio, for example, from this. Moving this chart over here, we can exclude different things from here, but this is a much simpler way of actually inserting of actually creating a chart and creating these averages than what you did before. You can manipulate this chart just like you did before, exclude the ratio measurements from the chart in exactly the same way as we did previously. So have a little play around with it, but I wanted to just show you how simple it can be if you just use the Excel functions effectively.